this challenge review, we're going to fix the two problems that we have remaining with this co-op game. So challenge 1 of this is that when the game is over, we need to be able to hit the escape key and send us back to the main menu so that we can choose to restart co-op or do single player. So where should that take effect? Well, what happens when this screen pops up when you die and you hit the space key? In our game manager, it says that if you hit the space key, if you're not in co-op mode, or if you are in co-op mode, regardless, we restart the game. So we want to have an else in here. So if you hit the space key, let's have an else if. What happens if you don't hit the space key? Say you hit the escape key. So input.getKey down. And then if you hit the escape key, we'll say keycode.escape. So what happens if we hit the escape key? Then we want to load the main menu. So we do that by saying scene manager. And remember, in order to use the scene manager, we have to actually include Unity Engine dot scene management. And that's how we gain the ability to load a scene using this library from Unity. So now I should be able to say scene manager dot load scene, and I can load the scene by its name, which I believe is main_menu. Now, if that name is not correct, it's going to throw an error. So we need to, yes, and it is main_menu. So let's go ahead, save our script, save our scene. Let's go ahead and run this. Let's hop into co-op mode. Go ahead and start it. I'm going to quickly have player 2 here get killed. And almost. Okay, so here we go. I hit the escape key, and there we go, back to the main menu. Now, the next problem we have is, what if I hit the space key? I need to be able to restart the game and successfully spawn those guys in. Now, if we hop into our co-op mode here, we have player 1 and player 2. These guys are not getting spawned in. What we can do is we can create a new game object, create an empty game object, and let's call it co-op players. So we'll say co-op, and we'll call it players. So here's our co-op players, and I'm going to go ahead and put player 1 and player 2 inside of co-op players. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn co-op players into a prefab. So I'll put it into our prefabs folder. And now what we can do is, just like our game manager will spawn the player in, if we're in co-op mode, let's go ahead and instantiate our co-op players. So here, let's hop into the game manager, and let's simply go ahead and change the logic here. The first thing we need is we need to be able to spawn the players in. So just like we have here, public game object player, we can have another public game object, and these actually should be private. These should be private serialized fields because we never want to change who this game object is. So we're actually going to make both of these private. So this will be private game object player, and we need to serialize the field. And then here we'll do the exact same thing. We'll say private game object, and this will be the co-op players. Okay, and we'll serialize this as well. Let's go ahead and save this. Let's head back into Unity. Let's get it reassigned. So you'll see here I can delete the co-op players. And if we go into the game manager, and actually we'll keep the initial co-op players so that the players can kind of move around when they first start. So we'll add those guys back. And here we have our game manager, which is looking for the co-op players. It's important that you don't add the co-op players from the hierarchy. If you do that and you destroy those objects, the reference will be gone, and when you hit the space key, it's going to null reference exception. So what we need to do is, from the project view, drag it to our game manager. So now we have that. Let's go ahead and create the logic. So here we're checking for if game over is true, okay? And then if we hit the space key, we restart. Else if we hit the escape key, we go back to the main menu. So when we restart the game by hitting space key, we check if co-op mode is false, we instantiate the player. But if co-op mode is true, okay, it's only gonna be one or the other. I'm gonna get into this else statement. So if is co-op mode is false, we're going to instantiate the normal player. Else, we're going to instantiate the co-op players. And we're going to use vector3.0 And we don't care about rotation, so we're going to say quaternion.identity. Let's go ahead and save this. Hop back into Unity. Run the game. And now, when we die in co-op, we should be able to successfully restart. Now, we actually just created a bug here. So what we want to do is not have those co-op players initially in the scene. You'll see here, it's normal, hit space, and both players get spawned in, and we're good to go. Okay. So that wraps up our challenge here, and I will see you guys later.